I've got a question for you guys. Ever wondered how much havoc a Roaring Moon's Protosynthesis stab boosted knockoff can wreak on the battlefield? I implore you to check out today's upload and find out for yourself. Hello viewers, subscribers, and newcomers. Welcome to Team Preview. Angel, thanks for the Team Preview information down below in the description. This team is going to be based on the most frustrating defensive presence in all of Generation 5, Alomomola. It's going to be providing wish support to Roaring Moon, Iron Boulder, and Clefable. Newcomers, welcome back to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Today we're going to go back to the classic 6v6 singles format. I got some really cool strategies to show you with this brand new team. I've got Alomomola leading the team with wish support to set up plays with Drought Torkoal into Protosynthesis Roaring Moon. I've got some exciting strategies to show off with this team, and hopefully I'll be able to showcase them. We're going to have an incredible battle today, so let's go ahead and get into it and see how it went down. My opponent is going to be leading with Kyogre, the Sinnoh champion, as I lead with my anchor, Siren. The rain is going to go ahead and get started up. Now, the only attack that my fish fears from this Kyogre would be a Thunder. And I don't particularly want to stick around to find out exactly how this Kyogre is set up, whether it's Life Orb, Choice Specs, Assault Vest, or Physically Defensive, one of my personal favorites. However, I'm going to go into I Am Groot, set up the Grassy Surge, and this Assault Vest Rillaboom is ready to take this oncoming Origin Pulse. So I thought. We took nearly half from that, even recovering just a little bit over half with the grassy terrain. I digress. Our Grassy Glide isn't enough to knock it out, as Ice Beam, unfortunately, is going to knock out Groot. My heart goes out to you, my little sapling. You've done a great job. You've weakened Kyogre down to the point that I need you to. But it's okay. We have a hero in disguise with Colossus. We're going to be able to come in here with our Quark Drive, and with Quark Drive and setting up off of our booster energy, of course, because I forgot it wasn't Protosynthesis and it's Quark Drive, we're going to have heightened speed. And I am not allowing this thing to set up and see what else it's packing. I'm just going to go ahead and knock it out with a Mighty Cleave. That is nice that we can outspeed this threat, and we are going to take no more casualties to this aquatic menace. He's going to now go into Mewtwo, which is a very intriguing choice, because most of the normal moves that Mewtwo carries in this situation, I either resist or take neutral damage for. I see a perfect opportunity to set up a Swords Dance. How much damage am I going to take from this? Not even half from a Shadow Ball. I do not want to one-shot this Mewtwo. I will be completely fine. Yes, damage range accepted. Clean 2-hit KO. Now, my opponent does have Lucario in the back. And I could go for another Mighty Cleave. However, I don't want to let Lucario come in for free to revenge kill me with a Life Orbed Bullet Punch. I'm assuming he's probably an Extreme Speed variant. But still, Bullet Punch could still be on a special variant. So predicting him to go into this Lucario, I'm going to go ahead and switch it up to an Earthquake on this turn. Still enough to knock out Mewtwo, but if my opponent wants to try to take advantage of that opportunity, switching into Lucario to finish me off with that Bullet Punch, I am more than prepared for it. However, from this range, I'm not prepared for a Bullet Punch, and my opponent makes a phenomenal play here, seeing that instead of going for the Bullet Punch, he's going to Terastallize into normal typing to get that stab bonus off of Extreme Speed to guarantee knocking me out even though I am a rock type. This kind of scares me a little bit. I'm now wondering if this thing is choice banded. I do not see Life Orb recoil, and I'm terrified. Sorta. I'm going to go back into the anchor. This thing holds our team completely together as he sets up a Swords Dance, and I'm like, burn, please. Burn, please. Yes! There's that burn. That's exactly what I needed to put this thing into check. Now, I'm going to go ahead and showcase one of the coolest thought processes I had when I set up this team. My opponent is going to go ahead and go for a Swords Dance and get up to +2, and that's pretty threatening, but the burn does mitigate its offensive prowess just slightly. After setting up the Wish, I am going to go into Bahamut. And let me tell you why I'm going to go into Bahamut. You're like, there's an Extreme Speed coming your way, which is going to knock you past half, and after Swords Dance, you are going to just basically throw this Roaring Moon, this offensive threat away for no reason. Ha ha! But you are wrong. Because I have Wish, and now with my Wish bringing me up to full, not only can I take an extreme speed, from this range I can hit him with a Protosynthesis boosted, stabbed knockoff. And since he is no longer of the fighting type, I can knock out this incredible terrestrialized threat immediately. Whew! Crisis averted. I am almost certain my opponent is going to want to revenge kill my Roaring Moon with Noise Face. You know, it's funny, I actually didn't know, even though this being one of my favorite Pokemon in Sword and Shield, I never knew it actually had a name for its alternative form. So that's pretty neat. Guess you learn something new every day. Because it has the Ice Face ability, any physical attack that I go for is just going to break its face, and then it is going to be faster than Roaring Moon and will be able to revenge it. I, however, am just going to go back to our solid Siren here, who can take whatever from this thing as long as I don't get frozen. I can easily Wish and Scald Stall this thing to absolute oblivion. Furthermore, I have Emberback in the back to bring in to also deal with this thing should it want to set up a belly drum. I have the Clear Smog in case it also has Liquidation on its moveset. So, Drought is going to be pretty ideal here. I know Lycanroc very well resists Torkoal and isn't scared of anything Torkoal can throw at it. However, it really doesn't want to come in here on burns. At this range, I still have Roaring Moon at a decent amount of health, and because Protosynthesis is still a thing I can put into play with Torkoal, there is no reason to sacrifice such an offensive threat that can add so much pressure on the opposing team. I'm really digging that moveset. He's going to go for a dig here. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and Siren can easily Wish Stall and Oblivion Stall this thing to death. However, in the back of my mind, I'm still trying to figure out at what point I want to terrestrialize in this battle, and I want to save that really cool surprise for later. A very heartfelt surprise. So, but Ice Cube was a cool pick, pun intended. But I bring in Bahamut again here on the attack heightened, and my opponent makes a phenomenal play going for the Stone Edge. I thought he would go for like a Cell Rock or something like that, which that play going back really didn't make a whole lot of sense, because 2 Cell Rocks would have definitely KO'd my Roaring Moon. And I did exactly what you guys told me I was going to do, was fodder my offensive behemoth very, very simply. He's going to go ahead and set up Stealth Rock with his Lycanroc, and I know I can easily Wish Scald. My idea now is to get into one of my other threats, using the Wish to mitigate the health. As he goes for a Crunch here, I'm thinking my defensive terrestrialization will be a really, really good spot-on choice, considering I could take whatever this Lycanroc wants to throw at me, even factoring the defense drops. So, we'll get into that in a second. He's going to get hurt by the burn, and how do you make a defensive Pokemon even more defensive? A water typing. Specifically, you give it the Fairy type. Fairy type is a very common defensive terrestrialization in Scarlet and Violet in general, and I think it fits really well for Alomomola, as some people do opt to give it specially defensive investment, but I think max defense and max HP is the way to go. Alluring Voice doesn't do a whole lot of damage. However, this thing is around to be a support mon, not to deal damage. Looking at you, Umbreon, I know, I love you. Umbreon, I love you, okay? My heart goes out to you, seriously. Now, he's going to swap in his Lycanroc and go out into his Ice Cube once again. Really nice to see it, though. I'm a little more scared of its offensive presence now that I'm Fairy type as opposed to Water to resist its hits, and I still have to worry about Blizzard Freezes. However, the intention of scalding and burning this thing and forcing it to Belly Drum on me is still the optimal play here. Blizzard doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and we do, of course, Wish Recover that right off. And now in the back of my mind, I'm thinking I'm wearing down the residual threats that he has left on his team. I think late game Rocks is still really phenomenal here. It, of course, does damage to Ice Cube, it does damage to Lycanroc, and it brings all the rest of the members on the team down to the point that Calma and Clefable will have an easier time, but also Torkoal can wear a lot of these threats down. Dragonite is still in the back, and breaking multi-scale is so important. Unfortunately for my opponent, he realizes this too little, too late. And this Lycanroc is already completely worn down. And Stealth Rocks are going to come in as the Lycanroc comes in. It's going to help wear down the last couple of things he has remaining. Now, while he does resist the fire from the stab of Torkoal, let's face it, it's not one of the more defensive things. So it will take pretty good damage from it. So now really all I want to do is take these hits with Stone Edge. But let's keep in mind we're also PowerPoint stalling Stone Edge with Siren. Its Wish support and Protect is very, very good for stalling Stone Edge. I feel pretty comfortable in the situation that I'm in. Torkoal can easily Rapid Spin and revenge this thing down. However, there's still a couple of things in the back, namely Dragonite, that I have to look out for. And Dragonite can still smash Alomomola into oblivion, because it's Dragonite. It still can easily set up with extreme speed, and as long as it doesn't get burned, there's not much I can do about it. However, there is one caveat to that, and that's the fact I'm already Fairy typing, and I can knock it out with a couple of Alluring Voices. It'll probably take like 4, because I have no offensive presence, but it'll still work out. Emberback is to a point that a couple Rapid Spins into Lava Plume after the Wish support will bring it to a point that I can get it in versus Dragonite or his last Mon. Which, of course, like I said, Ice Cube is something I can definitely deal with Lava Plume and Clear Smog. However, I don't really want Dragonite to set up either, and I have Clear Smog for that as well, alongside Unaware Clefable. So I'm not... But, I mean, Dragonite is a game ender. It is something that could definitely turn about an entire game from nothing. So, unfortunately, the puppy is finally put down from the sun in the overextensive heat. And now Torkoal faces, yeah, unfortunately, the Dragonite. Now, because the multi-skill is broken to the Stealth Rocks, that does make it a bit better. I don't know what the rest of its moveset is going to be, though. He opts for Dragon Rush, and because Torkoal has a really nice high base defense stat, I'm not too worried about it taking that particular attack. The Sunlight fades on this next turn, and Lava Plume doesn't do anything at all, but I am trying to get a couple of burns. I do see the Dragon Rush doesn't do all that well without any boosts, so I'm not as worried about it, as I know Dragon Rush as its offensive coverage won't be able to damage Clefable at all. I then see Roost. Then I'm a little bit more scared because now I can get back up to multi-scale and offset the damage that I have with Alluring Voice even being stabbed. I'm a bit more afraid now. Speaking of being a bit more afraid, we're going to go into Valkyrie right now, and we do take that extreme speed really well. So it's a 3-hit KO, and that worked out well because if we would have got it in early, and it could have just 3-hit KO with extreme speed, and then of course Roost stalled to get back up to full health and then beat me down with the extreme speeds, it definitely would have been a bit of a stall fest, and something I don't think either one of us, you as a viewer, want to watch, and I as a player want to play. So, Alluring Voice does a nice chunk of damage without that multi-scale. We get that guaranteed confusion, and he is going to go ahead and drop the game because Clefable can finish off both of those threats along with Siren in the back. The most defensive thing I had. Thank you guys so much for watching and all the support lately. I'll see you guys in the next upload. Remember, next time, power on, power off. Everything is down below in the description. Take care and see you next time.